Hello and welcome to the next episode, I think it's episode 33 maybe, of making mannequin heads into planters. When we left off, I told you that I was going to get all my stuff together in order to drill in this head. We just did the hollowing out. Very, very good, right? Oh yeah, look at that. Lots and lots of space for good roots and soil. And I painted the eyeballses. It's got orange, darker orange around the outside. That is the pumpkin patch. And then I was just doing drywall and I'm all like itchy now, itchy scratchy. And then in the center it's bronze multi-surface paint. This is all going to be sealed afterward with Flex Seal, so we're good to go. All right, so I got my drill. Let me put away a couple of my brushes here so they're out of the way. Clear out my workspace a wee bit. There we go. Now, with this one, I want to make sure, as I've mentioned, that I allow for not squishing the head. There it is. Right? All right, so I'm just gonna go in literally from the bottom, all the way through. I'm not gonna do any other drain holes, I don't think, on this one. I think I'll put a little bit of, like a few, maybe like 10 rocks in the bottom, and then soil everywhere else. So we're gonna see how this comes out. Be careful not to squish the well-painted part. Oh, yeah. Oh. Gotta put it on so it doesn't do that. There we go. Oh my God. There it is. Oh my God, there's rubber going everywhere. Yes. There we go. Oh, get it up in there. Can I see light? I cannot even see light through there. What the heck? All the way in. All right. I'm gonna have to drill from the top too. Oh, get it an angle. There we go. Another angle. Now I'm gonna go up at an angle. Oh, that's right. Whoa. Well, she got a little wild and untamed there. Good Lord. All right, something got caught on there. Let's try backing that off. Oh, geez. All right, that was not intentional. Sorry. I'm hitting something, obviously, inside the head. I gotta be careful, though. I can't hold it too hard. Oh, it's really, what am I running up against? Oh, and the whole thing just came out. Well, that'll work for me. Oh, what a mess. Oh, my God. Well, so the whole rubber plug thingy that helps it stay on here just came out, and I still can't see through. What the heck? Oh, empty some of that directly into there. Oh my God, it's all over the front of me. Well, it is what it is. Well, that was exciting. Good golly. Miss Molly. Oh, and look at that. It did not even pop through on this end. So what in the world? It felt like I had no resistance. So what the heck is this? God, and how do I get this off without destroying her? All right, so I got up and in there, made a hole. There's foam there. So this is one of those plugs. I don't think I can get in far enough with this drill bit from this side. Let me see what I can do. All right, I think I'm gonna put her back on here. All right, that should hold on to her for a little bit. Well, that worked easily. I think it's like a lighter plastic. However they filled this one with the chemicals. However they filled this one with the chemicals to get the foam to fill it. A little bit different from the other ones that I've done. All right. All right, that seems to me like it is working better. Let's try this. If I can empty it out. Oh, of course her hair is catching most of it, but yep, that did work. Now, can I see through yet? No. Oh, wait, nope, I can't. So I gotta get digging in her head. That's not gonna help. What do I have that can go that deep? Ooh, that deep is super long. Be careful, set it on her back. Super long blade. Lord, what am I running into in this? All right, I'm going back in from this end. Oh, it's got hair. You spun all around the... Okay, yeah, I'm leaving that on there. Right, I'm holding on to it pretty tightly and it's working so far. Hasn't caught. Whatever I was catching on before was pretty hardcore. But it seems to have been tuned away. Oh yeah, there's a lot of hard black plastic. Or that's black rubber, I guess. Oh, and I see light. Hallelujah! I can see light. I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing. All right. Oh, there we go. Something just came out. So what I'm doing is I'm doing this action. In and out, in and out. And what it's doing is the side of the drill bit is, oh, you see that? Something that flew out. Is chewing away at the edges, which is exactly what I want. Whew. That is an awkward position to be in, but hallelujah, it worked. Oh, and it's another one of those framework things. Remember on the other one, it had that random weird, I don't know what this is thing. Hard plastic. I was right, it was hard plastic after all. Good Lord, what a mess. That'll be cleaned up. Thank goodness for shop vacs and for house vacs. We have house vac that was built with the house. It's pretty cool. And it's throughout the basement, which is even cooler. They obviously were planning on finishing our basement at some point, never got around to it. Oh yeah, there it is. This is like laddery thing. But it still has shop vacuum, or not shop vacuum, house vacuum, sorry. Whole house vacuum. I've got this massive vacuum thing, sucker thing on next to the furnace down that end of the house. And all the pipes run along the rafters here, and then they go up into the rooms, into the walls, like the hallway and stuff like that. And with really long tubes with a handle, you know, non-electric, just suction. And then there is one actual head that is a beater head, like, so it's got the electric beaters. That fits on the end of it as well, but that plugs into the wall. So when you see, it's interesting because when they put it all in, you see these flap things. They go up and you put the hose onto it, but it automatically turns it on. It's got a little switch built into the little flap. And next to it, almost every single one, is an outlet. So if you do have one of those beater heads that you're using with it, you have an outlet right there. Brilliant, or it's really close. Absolutely brilliant design and ideas. Well thought through, well engineered. Oh my gosh, her hair is it's kind of a ratty mess from flying around on my table. So, all right, well, that was exciting. So now, and this is kind of cool, actually. Look inside. Look inside at her marvelous head cavity. So it comes up. So I don't even need her. I don't think I need any. I will need rocks, because if I use gravel in there, it'll keep it from getting clogged. But what's kind of cool is that we'll leave it so that there's water in the very bottom that will be drawn off of. It's not a lot. You don't want too much water in the bottom of planters, if they're outside especially, because it'll just rot out everything that's in the planter. That's why you put holes in the bottom of the planter. But as I've mentioned before, when I was doing the holes in the other planters, I like to keep a space in the bottom, just a little space, drill holes in the side of your pots if they don't have holes and you're putting them outside, so that it can hold on to some water. Kansas City is, I lived in Kansas City for 22 years, if you don't know. But Kansas City, it's very, 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 very hot and dry during the summer. Like really hot. Like really hot. Hartford or Connecticut this year has got nothing on Kansas City for heat during the summer. But it also gets rather dry, and I love plants and have always had big pots and stuff like that. So I would get the big ones where they have the option of having the plug or having the hole in the bottom. I would leave the plug in and then drill it from the sides. There's a trick that a master gardener with whom I worked at Lowe's when I worked there, and I was finishing my undergraduate degree at University of Missouri, University of Missouri, Kansas City. So I worked with this woman who was a master gardener, and she gave me that suggestion for keeping the toes wet. And I was like, oh, that's pretty brilliant. I love that idea. So I, of course, told everybody, but I always give credit where it's due, or I try to. It was totally not my coming up with that. I was just like, yes, let's do that. And it worked beautifully because we had amazing potted plants. Anybody who ever went to our house, visited our house, who's watching this in Kansas City would know that our gardens were pretty darn spectacular. The only garden that I miss from Kansas City, well, there's three sections of our yard. I put in a little pond that had, had a little waterway that went down a hill. So it came on the top side, it just sort of recirculated and went down into a small, it was like 3 feet by 4 feet, I think. And it was 3.5 or 4 feet deep pond, if you will, more of a fountain. But anyway, so that was there, and it had raspberries and blueberries around it. And boy, did I get a lot of blueberries. I got a ton of raspberries too, but every year the raspberries came up in a completely different place, like 5 feet away. So that was interesting and a learning experience. And then I had a rose garden that I absolutely loved. I think I had 10 or 15 roses. They were all ones that I saved from being thrown out at Lowe's and nurtured back to life. And they were basically roots. A lot of them were rootstock that ended up being gorgeous. Mr. Lincoln, I think it is. Yeah, it's called Mr. Lincoln, was my favorite. We actually found it here at Mascarello's. And it's this giant, deep red rose that comes out on it. That it comes out like one of those that you buy in the store, the rose, typical compact. And then it goes, and it becomes this massive red. And it's so fragrant. Holy moly. I had yellow roses and climbing roses. And I also, in that same bed, had grapes climbing up the side, and we had 800 square feet of decking on that house. Yeah, 800 square feet of outside deck. We had a lower deck, and then we had an upper deck. And the lower deck was gigantic, and then the upper deck was not so deep. It was like 8 feet out, maybe 8 feet, but the length of one of the upper levels. It's a 5-level house. Yeah, a lot of stairs. Asked my dad. He came down them and did the splits, and that was a sound I would never want to hear from my father again in my life or his. It is the it was just oh God, broke my heart and scared the hell out of me, because I was like, oh my God, what is going on? So anywho, lots of stairs, lots of floors, 5 floors, half floors if you will, 5 levels. All right, so now she is done to that point, right? She's all drilled out. That was a lot more exciting and fun and thrilling than I thought it was going to be. I don't know that I actually need this rubber thing in here, but I put it back in, and I really probably shouldn't. I'm going to leave that out, but I'm going to put it on here in case I need to fit any heads that do not have that, like this one, which has a large hole. Ha-ha, look at that. Don't throw anything away ever. You may be able to use it. Because this was a problem, because when I put it on here, it was like loosey-goosey. But now I put it on there and plop, plop, plom, plop, plop, plom, got an adapter. That worked. All right. So don't throw that out, Patrick. All right, here we go. So we were talking about her hair, right? Let's pop her back on here. Actually, I need my adapter. Bloom, 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 bloom. Make sure it doesn't stay behind. Talking about what am I gonna do with her hair? So now that she's all drilled out, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do with the hair. And I have decided that, turn her around. I'm gonna take and braid right above her ears from here. I'm gonna take a clump, and not a big one, but like a small braid. And then on the other side, I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm going to braid out from the side of her head over her ear. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that it's a large enough clump, all the same length. It's nice and long. Get a little comb if I can find my comb. There it is, hiding. And I don't know if you know how to braid. If you're a guy, you may not know how to braid. I know this is like a sexist, sounds like a sexist thing to say, but I never make assumptions with that sort of thing because I grew up in a household of 2 sisters. I learned how to braid. And my mom was very, very good about making sure I know how to sew, and because I was interested in it. So she was fearless in teaching me, thank goodness, because I find it very, very relaxing and very fun to do. And I've got a whole product line around it, around sewing and being creative in fiber arts, as a fiber artist as well. And all right, there we go. So I'm going to take this hair, I'm going to braid it. Now, I'm not concerned about making the prettiest, perfectest braid in the world, but I'm going to do it right now and then bring it back. So I do want to make sure that while I'm braiding it, I get the right flatness of it. Why? It doesn't matter, Patrick. Well, just because I do. I want it to be cool looking. I don't want it to be like, oh, that's crappy. Because then what I'm going to do is her hair will come down, but it'll keep it back. You see? Cool, right? All right, so I'm going to get the rest of her hair out of the way. And we're going to braid. Really long hair. And thank goodness for this stand. So I piece it, I grab it, and separate it into 3 mostly equal sections. Like I said, it's going to be a thin braid, so it's not going to be rocket science to do it, but I do want to make sure that each of my sections is pretty much even. And this may be like watching paint dry even more than the rest of my episodes are. Watching me braid maybe, but it's easy enough. So I just go outside in, outside over the middle, outside over the middle, outside over the middle. You just alternate. So left over the middle, right over the middle. I'm not doing fancy braids. There's a whole bunch of plaiting stuff. Oh my gosh. Some of these videos that I've seen with how to plait. See, I don't know how to pronounce it because I only ever read it. So many words that I don't know how to pronounce. I think I do, and then I'm like, oh, well, that's not how you pronounce it. Anyway, plaiting hair. I think it's called plaiting. Outside to the middle, outside to the middle, right over left, left over right, right over left. It's not hard. If you did like French braiding, which I could have done on it, it's where you pick up a piece along the way from the scalp. I'm not doing that. This is going to be just to hold her hair back along the way, and then I'm going to have them join in the back from left side and right side. I will glue them together just like I did on the white-haired one, white and now orange and blue and red haired and purple. I think she's got some purple in there, maybe teal. If you watch that episode, it's kind of interesting, coloring her hair with markers. It's not uninteresting, that's for sure, I found. Of course I did it. It's a ridiculous statement. Well, I find it was fascinating what I did. Yes, there's a word for that kind of a statement. You know what it is. So a couple of words that speaking of words that I've actually, I find, I hope you don't get offended by these. If you do, if you do, mute it. I don't know. And it'll be interesting on closed caption to see how it comes through. So one, and I bet you it'll actually come through on on the closed captions. A word that I had made up that's now a word that I find on Facebook. What the hell? I'm so impressed. Douchebaggery. It's where you're a douchebag, but it's like the action of being a douchebag. It's called, the actual action is douchebaggery. Somebody I just heard, and this is a more vulgar one, somebody being called a twat waffle. I came up with that. It just spilled out of my mouth one day. Put it on the internet, and suddenly everybody else is using it, which makes me very happy. Not everybody, just a few people. I actually saw it on somebody's post, and I was like, oh, that's hallelujah. I obviously didn't come up with it myself. Well, I did, but I mean, it's not like something that was exclusively me coming up with it. You know what I don't have here, because I used it elsewhere, is my glue. But I do have the multi-grip glue. That's from Ocean State Job Lot, which will work beautifully on here as well, as long as I've actually opened the tip. All right, is the other one open? I don't think I've opened either of these. Oh no. So now, oops, I just knocked stuff off. I'm going to clip the tip, just the tip. There we go. And oh, would you have very shaky hand trying to? Oh golly. Okay. Got to be smarter than the bottle. There's also hermetic seal or something, whatever. It's another saying that I use. I don't actually know if it's correct. Hermetically sealed, which is like, I guess it's like super sealed. Here we go. I use that term all the time. Oh my God, why is my hand so shaky? Squeezy, squeezy. Come on. Come on, lemon peasy. What I don't want is I don't want it to... Oh, it's open. Why are you not coming out? Oh, because you're super goopy on the end. All right, well, we'll get you going. I'll be able to see it, I hope, coming... Oh my God. Coming down. What the heck? I think the very edge has somehow dried up. Yeah, look at that. Oh, it's got like... Oh yeah, it had a hard... Oh, interesting. So what I just took off didn't actually unseal it fully. It had like... There it is. See that? That was left behind. Oh God, it's never going to come off my finger. So put it on something that I want to stick to more than wanting to stick to my finger. Oh, the woes of opening a jar of glue. Good golly. All right, so let's get back to this. I'm doing the end of the braid. Gosh. There it is. Whoop. Shaky hand, put it right on. But that works. So that's all I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue it. I don't need anything fancy. I can figure out something fancy later if I want, but I really don't. I think I'm just going to do that and get rid of the 1,000 strings that you can't see. It just makes me look weird that I'm like fighting with air. There, that'll hold it. You can see that. Yeah, you can see that. Look at that. Now, other side. I've got just a few minutes left on this episode. And I'm going to crank her down. There it is. Which way am I going? Loosey goosey, righty tighty. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. There it is. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm going to bring down a brush. I'm going to bring it on the dog's brush and brush her hair after I do all of this. I know she's going to get nappy, but we'll figure out other things. I may do more braids. Just because her hair is so spectacular. It's synthetic. I actually found the purchase that I did. I did get her from Amazon. I was scrolling through a bunch of purchases from this last year, looking for something else to repurchase for technology. And she came up and I was like, oh, fabulous synthetic hair. All right, that's good. How wide is this one? This one's about that wide, it's about 1 inch wide. This one's a little bit more, so I'm gonna bring it down. There we go. That should be about the same. It is going outside, Patrick. It doesn't need to be perfect, but I do want it to be relatively, or at least somewhat similar. I'm grabbing the hair so you can see right from in front and above the ear. See? Yep. And that should be about right. So when I pull it back, the other hair can go down. So that's cool. So Larry and I have been going to Wednesday movies lately. If you're in this area, in the Hartford area, I don't know if you know about this, but I'm going to tell you right now. So after I'm done talking to you, you're going to know about it. So Cinepolis, the theater in Blueback Square. So if you're not from this area, Blueback Square is a little shopping area. It has a Barnes and Noble, and very hoity-toity, high-end, I think they are. But they have a nice little, it's a nice venue. They do little concerts and outreach stuff. They have a little pagoda-y thing. I used to work right across the way from it when I worked at Day Pitney. So anyway, so Cinepolis was a bow tie cinema for a little while, and then a bunch of stuff happened, and bow tie went out, and that's how they call it, Cinepolis, something like that. Cinepolis, with accents. It's very fancy sounding, right? So they have classic movie nights. We saw Casablanca, and now they're doing the Lords of the Ring movies, which I haven't seen on the big screen. I mean, obviously, then other than a big screen in our basement, which is like a 65-inch TV, which has a fabulous sound system, but it's on the big screen in loungers. They serve you dinner and or cocktails or whatever you want. They have a bottomless popcorn bowl, which for me, of course, is basically heaven and dangerous all at the same time. So I'm going to do this so you can actually see what I'm doing. So right over left, left over right. We're left over center, right over center, left over center, right over center, left over center. So we went to Casablanca and we discovered, oh my God, they're doing all three of the Lord of the Rings. Lords of the Ring? Oh, I don't know now. Isn't that weird? Series. Movies. The three biggies. I think they had done The Hobbit a little while ago, but on the big screen in this one theater, one of the actual places that they have in there, one of the screens, there it is. And it's been wonderful. So on Wednesday, we saw The Two Towers. And it's really cool to be able to see it on a big screen in the theater again with the recliners. They have the leather recliners. They serve you, like I said, they serve you food and drink. And one thing that they have is that on Wednesdays, oh geez, Patrick, pay attention. Right over middle, left over middle. On Wednesdays, the movie is only $5 for the classics. Interesting that Lord of the Rings is a classic, which is pretty awesome. And the popcorn is half price, and there's something else, maybe lemonade or something like that. Bottomless lemonade, by the way. So very affordable. I always just get the popcorn, and that is my dinner because I love me some popcorn, and their popcorn is fabulous. But anyway, so while I was watching the movie, I'm like, oh, elven hair. She looks like an elf to me. Like an elf from those movies, right? No pointy ears, but I could always give her pointy ears if I really wanted to, which would be pretty freaking awesome, actually. It needs to be a little longer. So what I did was, when you're checking, don't just let it go. Hold on to it. That way you know what side is up that you're working on, otherwise it's going to get all twisty. So what I just did was I pulled it back to the center in the back to see where I am compared to the other side. And with those extra few, I'm right where I need to be. And I'm going to glue this together. Yeah, so the elven hair in those movies is pretty awesome. Beautiful. They're all very pasty, pale people. But I like the way their hair is done. And the way that they do the dwarves' hair, oh my God, it's so cool with all the plating and all the plaiting and all the braids and the Let's make sure I put the top on so this thing does not, when this top screws on, so it does not dry out. And I'm going to leave those to dry. This one's already somewhat dry. This one's longer. Well, that's fine. It is what it is. This one's thicker than this one, but where's it going to be? Outside! It's the mantra. So anyway, so there it is. So if you get a chance and you're in the Hartford area, go to Cinepolis theaters and check out their movies on Wednesdays. It's a fabulous deal, and it's fun if you can. It starts early though. It's like 6:30, I think the movies are. So that is the next stage on her. Then I'm going to either pin them together, tie them together, or probably tie them together, glue them together, not with hot glue. Why do we not use hot glue? Going to be outside in the heat. Hot glue does what? When it gets hot, it melts. So do not use hot glue on projects like this that you're going to have outside, because otherwise you're just going to have a big melty mess and things are going to fall apart. And we'll figure out what else we're going to do. I may braid. I have a feeling I'll be braiding a lot more of her hair before I put it down, or I may do a big braid in the back to control it. Maybe a few braids and then bring them all together. We'll see. Ooh, I could do 1, 2, 3, bring them all together into one braid and then braid it from there. That's actually probably what I'll do. But it's such great hair, I don't want it to not be such great hair. If I do braiding it with wind and weather and things like that, it'll keep it from getting really nasty nappy. And that's kind of should be a goal. Alrighty, so on the next one, we'll work more on the hair for this one. And she is pretty awesome, I think. And I may do some little touch-ups here and there. I think I'm just gonna leave the paint as is because she's so freaking cool. And then I will seal her hair in place. That's the other thing, I do seal the hair. It really keeps it glued together. And if you use the clear flex seal, that works brilliantly because it just sort of sets it. It's kind of like an aqua net for outside that won't wash away. And we'll work on that next time. All right. Send out some love, like and subscribe, and put love out in the world. There's not enough out there. And love yourself. Bye.